everybody. First, I just want to thank everybody who's been liking the videos, subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate the support. And if you're watching this, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Um, yeah. All right, so we're back for another review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Reunion, Part 2, Season 6, Episode 33. We didn't need three parts. This part was good, though. All right, which means that next week probably going to be bad. Anyway, let me just say this. I have a bit of a headache. This has been a stressful. I have migraines anyway, and I know y'all like every time you get on here, you sick. I really don't know what's been going on for the past month. I'm starting to think them COVID test was wrong. Okay, but anyway, so I might need to go to the doctor again, but I'm hoping I feel better. So I'm just saying, if I seem weird, just know I'm aware. Okay, so Tisha and Kiki, they're going back and forth, back and forth. I swear, anytime we are dealing with Tisha, it's gonna be the same shit over and over again. I don't care who it's with; it's the same shit. Okay, so she points out that Kiki cheats on a mean, and the mean cheats on her. Kiki was like, "And your point is?" I said, "Oh shit." Hard to hit somebody when they ain't ashamed. And Kiki was like, "There's been infidelity on both parts." Now, let me tell you something. What I'm not here for. I'm not here for that kind of shit. No, I don't care what anybody says to you. I don't care how many times they say it. Open marriages are some bullshit. Okay? I don't understand for the life of me how people are okay with getting married in the eyes of the Lord and taking vows to one another and then agreeing they can still have sex with whomever they want or bringing in third parties. That shit is unnatural and is unhealthy. Okay? I'm going to tell you why. No, I do kind of know why. All right, there's a reason why there are so many crimes of passion when it comes to those threesomes and stuff like that, because there's still an expectation, regardless of what people are saying, in something that is so intimate and so personal in human beings who are engaged in sex, that they still expect to be the only one despite what they're saying. And rightfully so. That's natural. Regardless of what somebody's sexuality is, that's natural. Nobody wants to watch you fuck somebody else unless you just deranged. That many people aren't deranged, but that many people are insecure. It's just like I don't understand like bisexual women, or I don't know if they're bisexual or just women who are gay and just have a hard time really saying they're gay. Um, Bisexual women, I guess, who go and get married to men and try to convince people that they are free enough in these loving relationships that they can still sleep with another woman if they want to. Bitch, y'all don't love each other. I just, people, when you love somebody, you can't just be okay with fucking somebody else. Damn sure not a woman. Damn sure not a man who loves you can be okay with that. Okay? I don't care what you say. Any man that would let that happen don't give a shit about you. He can't. I don't even know why y'all did it. And a woman who gets married, knowing that she's somebody who gets married to a man despite this, like still liking sex with women. I'm not saying bisexual people can't exist, but since they are the largest part of the LGBTQ plus community, um, I think many of them still hold on to this heterosexual framework, despite the fact they say they're not into gender roles and they don't believe in traditional marriages and nothing's wrong with an open marriage. No, you need that heterosexual framework because that makes you feel safe. Because you really need, you still in your mind need a man as part of your life because you aren't brave enough to live your life the way you should. And I'm saying the way you should in terms of being honest with yourself and your sexuality. And the bottom line is, and I can't speak for the gay community, but I know I certainly have enough gay friends to where I can say, and a couple of trans friends, where I can say to you, it takes a lot of fucking bravery to live like that. I don't care if corporations have rainbows and shit like that. It takes a lot of bravery to live in your skin and to be gay and know that if you say that you are not safe. And bisexual people seem to still be able to lean in this way and not have to live that way. Now, I'm not saying that people can't have multiple forms of sexuality and shit, but I am saying it's some bullshit. And gay people are brave, and black gay people are especially brave. Okay? And I'm just going to leave that there. But I digress. And I know I'm digressing, but I just had to get that I, that just came across the dome when all this was going on. So Tisha, it's hard to hit somebody with some shit like you did with Kiki. Once they go, yeah, and your point is, and they don't deny it, because then see, at that point it kind of loses its power. And not Kiki, Tisha, it's so hard to tell them apart. They look like motherfucking twins. I don't care what nobody say. Cousins, them chicks look just the fucking like. They look like Tia and Tamara. You know how there's like something slightly different about them, but you can't always tell. That's what the fuck it is. Anyway, because see, Kiki lacks the shame you wanted to impose on her, which is why people can still throw out shit about Marceau, and it bother you, but it bothers you because there's a shame with it. Kiki just, I don't know. Even if she is ashamed, she had sense enough not to let you see her sweat. Nevertheless, all right. Also, Kiki, that's why y'all don't need to be on these shows with kids, okay? Showing y'all's asses all the time. I am sorry. I do not think there is anywhere on earth that a kid or kids are not affected by their parents' personal lives being on reality TV. Whatever's cut out, whatever's edited, whatever stays in, they are still children. This is part of their development. And I can't imagine people with teenagers. Being a teenager is hard enough. That puberty part of my life, that was rough. Okay, and I did not grow up in one of those homes. I grew up in one of those homes where it was like, suck it up. That's life. That's tough. You know, and granted, it builds character. I don't think you need to overly indulge your kids in this stuff. But it is hard being a teenager and then have this playing out on TV. I don't know. That's why I just think people ought to be responsible with this. And that goes for all of them, but especially with these kind of things that should be private. Did y'all notice that when Tisha was telling all of her business, how straight-faced Martell, Mel, Kimmy, and Maurice were? And something just gave me the vibe like they were like, ooh, I'm not going to react because I don't want her to put my shit out there. Like, okay, and just in case it is true, I don't want nobody coming up bringing up no shit from years later about me, okay? My light is weird. Oh, well. Maybe I should pull it down. Maybe? Okay. If not, oh, well. So, Carlos asked Kimmy and Mel if they think Tisha's in denial. Mel says, go Kimmy, and Kimmy says, go Mel. They go back and forth for like 30 seconds. And then Kimmy finally says, no, I just think she's tired. Kimmy, they done got to you, honey. And Mel says, look, I know what it is to be married and to have kids involved. And sometimes you just want something concrete. And, you know, I don't know if she was talking about concrete evidence or concrete relationship. I couldn't figure it out, but we all know it's a bunch of bullshit anyway. So now Marceau says that Kiki is going around lying on their marriage to be on TV. Because Carl's asking, well, why would she lie? First of all, in the words of Cat Williams, nobody knows why liars do what liars do. And that goes for anybody who may be lying. So it's a waste of time to ask that question. And Kiki came back and was like, well, y'all need a reason to be on TV. That's why y'all keep putting my personal business out there. I said, well, because every time they got a chance, they was bringing up how she's a drug addict. Or claiming that she's one. So Carlos starts saying that the crew and cast has said that Kiki's behavior has been erratic. First of all, to me, the cast doesn't count. The cast was also believing the lies Martell was saying about Mel. The cast also will go along with anything that seems like good TV because this is still their show that they're on, so on and so forth. And since when Carlos is throwing a drink on anybody on reality TV, including the shows you've been involved with, when has that been considered anything other than reality TV bullshit and quote-unquote erratic behavior all of a sudden? It may or may not be true. But what I'm saying is there isn't enough evidence to make me think it's true. Erratic is too strong of a word in that case. So Carlos is talking about to Kiki's credit. She ignored you at the barbecue, not trying to engage you. Why is that to her credit? Didn't I tell y'all I read that book about black girls in school where I said sociologists talked about how being ignored is traumatic? And when Kiki said that was a trigger for her, I'm not saying it's the exact same thing, but that's something that has stuck with me. What it feels like to be invisible, and certainly as a black person and as a black woman. Yeah, that can be a trigger. And she knew it, but I mean, Tisha's passive aggressive, so she fights different. Anyway, and when Mel threw that drink on Martell, he did deserve it. That's not up for debate over here, okay? It's not. I think Tisha gets babied a lot from her family that's on this cast and Carlos. And I think that's why I'm so annoyed by her. Because I feel like she never really has to carry things on her own. She comes at people sideways. She was basically mocking Mel when Mel was going through all that hell with Martell, trying to put her back in a bad relationship because she's miserable in hers and doesn't know how to leave. And since when? I was so confused about the drug test conversation. Not confused, I didn't understand. Confused about the way they were trying to spin it. Since when does coming up negative for methadone or any drug, since when is that a bad thing? So what if she came up with something negative? So what if she lied about methadone? She came up negative for it. Okay. Shit, maybe she was trying to cover any basis of anything she had had in the past month just in case it showed up. Why is that? Why is that a thing? And why does she need to take a drug test over and over again? What is that going to prove? Even if she is on drugs, what's that going to prove to y'all? The Crime Stopper shit is bullshit. There's no charges against her. Let's not act like black people can't be accused of anything. Yeah, it's her face on the camera. Everybody who walks through a store where they have surveillance cameras, their face can be on a camera. Like, you know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here. And even if she wasn't sober, because this is how I was feeling when Carlos kept asking her all those questions, what would y'all do with that information? Kimmy was talking about how when she showed up at the barbecue, when I played the back of my head, she was sweating and shaking. Weren't all y'all out there talking about how hot and shit it was? Exactly. So Kimmy, I'm starting to really get annoyed with you. And the way you just siding with them, it just seems like for the sake of siding with them. I don't care that Marceau took off work to pick up Kiki when she was having trouble. Marceau, you don't be working no how. We just see you in a house that may be being worked on. Y'all need to worry about Scott, man. Don't try to act like you so goddamn busy. All right? And don't act like, I just think there's some shit that shouldn't be thrown in people's faces. But honestly, I'm tired of it, watching them fight. I told you, whenever Tisha's involved, it's going to be the same bullshit. She's still mad at Mel from years ago. She's still mad at this. She's still, like, just shut the fuck up. We get Lou and Tiffany coming on stage. Okay, we could have done without them. This is the longest we've seen them side by side this season. It feels like it's been going on for a year long. Anyway, Chris and Nell finally come out. They should have been out because they done carried the whole goddamn season. Carlos says Chris is a TikTok sensation. It's shown up on my timeline on TikTok because I just watch videos on TikTok. I don't create them or anything. And it's always cute to me. It's always cute, but I don't like follow it. And he was like, well, I think you dance kind of like George Jefferson. First of all, sir, Carlos, George Jefferson could get down, okay? Need we remind you of his time on the Jeffersons and on Amen. He could get down, okay? Just because he was doing the dances of that time did not make him not a dancer. Also, if that was meant to be a read to Chris be getting it. Don't pull it. Don't pull it. All right, y'all know how I feel about Chris. So Martell's talking about Sheree, talking about side chick, talking about Mel. When it comes to his female relationships, that's what Carlos is asking him about. Like, we give a fuck. Martell acts like a female. Martell is sus. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. All right. He says him and Sheree were never together. They were just friends. And not that we saw the chemistry per se, but you did present this to us as a relationship, which is why you got, you know, rah-rah with Tiffany. All right? Not that Tiffany didn't deserve it, but you said this like this was your girlfriend. So Kimmy says she never really believed the relationship. And she was just like, 'cause I never saw that warm and fuzzy kind of feeling, things that you would think when somebody's in a relationship. And Martell was like, I've never seen you and Maurice kiss like that. Except for, you know, that one time at y'all's wedding. And she was like, you are such a liar. First of all, honestly, Martell, we have seen Kimmy and Maurice kiss each other multiple times on this show, and we don't even know them. Okay? Now, do I think Kimmy gives more in that relationship than Maurice does, and it kind of comes off like that? Yes. But my thing is also, Kimmy, if you know Martell would lie about something like that, I'm going to need you not to eat that shit up to the point where next time y'all are on the trip, you somewhere defending him or coming in, caping for him the way you were when when Stormy was asking about the timeline of the cheating and explaining why it did matter. Anyway, so Martell talks like a 20-year-old on the HBCU campus when he's lying to one girl because he's trying to screw a new one. Nah, we just friends. Now when he messing with her hard and all that other shit. And you too grown for that. He claims that he stopped seeing Sheree because he wanted to refocus. And Carlos was like, well, on her show, she didn't like all the negative press and attention. She said, that's why y'all stopped dating. So clearly y'all got two different stories. Mel jumps in and Mel says it was a business arrangement. It's in them court documents. I said, oh, shit. Okay. They talk about Tiffany versus Martell and Marceau. Because we get back to Tiffany because for some reason we have to. Anyway, Marceau got to lying, talking about how he didn't like the way Martell was talking to her. Motherfucker, you was talking to her the same way, stirring shit up. Martell said when he called her a Karen, she was like, well, when somebody calls me a Karen, I don't know how to take it from that side of the room. And Martell was like, it was meant to be negative. And I said, that's the first truth Martell done told. And you know what? Stay in it. Because that's exactly what she was acting like. Sorry. And Marceau called her a Karen and then started talking in circles about not all white people can be Karen, this and the other. She's a Karen, call her a Karen and stand in it. Moving on. Carlos asked Martell if he still had feelings for Mel, and that's why he acts the way he acts. He acts the way he acts because he lacks self-control. He acts the way he acts because he's a narcissist. He acts the way he acts because he wants to control women's behavior. Okay? So this kind of still had feelings. That's not going to rock out for me. It's not. So Nell said that he told her that even recently. And not just in that scene, like even recently. And Mel said those are things she's heard too. She's talked about how Martell continues to text her and all that shit. I believe it. Martell, you're lying and you're a liar. And to get mad when somebody calls you a liar as if you don't lie on a regular basis and then start that little stupid smiling, like, I can't with him. I can't. Marceau said he's afraid that he's going to get in trouble with his wife. I said his wife and basically his baby mother, right? So Mel said, of course. I know that. They're definitely in a relationship. She said, because every time my children are there, she's around them. And so Carlos asked, well, does it hurt her that this woman is around her kids? And she was like, it doesn't hurt me, but it does put me into protective mode. It would hurt and bother me. You want to know why? Because this is the bitch that broke up their home, as Mel pointed out. And Mel makes the point that, look, I can't hate a woman who admire my family setup so much that she worked so hard to destroy it. She was like, him too, but at the same time, this bitch knew what was going on and wanted it. Okay? And Martell, honestly, Mel gave you too many chances. And Mel really loved you. That's why she gave you so many chances. You let a whore who wanted to be like your ex-wife, that didn't have to be your ex-wife if you would have behaved yourself, who wants to be so much like her that she tries to imitate her, and then let her break up your home. So you went for the great value version of the woman you already had. So many men have done that. And you know what? You ain't shit and you don't deserve her. And that hoe is responsible too. Yes, we can say that, yes, Martell shouldn't have let her in. But at the moment she knew, she was part of the problem. I'm not talking about how some people really don't know and don't find out until later. I'm not talking about that. All right? She was jealous of Mel. Okay? And clearly, you know you were talking about your wife around her. And wanted to take something from her. Okay? And Martell was what she took. She thinks she took. Even though Martell wouldn't have left that marriage if Mel didn't divorce him. Okay? Martell's never going to marry that bitch. Okay? And if he does, it's to get Mel Rogers' attention. And that ship has sailed. Okay? Did y'all see Martell storm off that set, barely able to walk with that tight-ass suit on, switching his hips? I can't. Tiffany and postpartum, if it's true, I'm really sorry to hear that. I have my doubts about it. I think reality TV was not making her and Lou look good. Lou was not willing to continue taping. And I think that simply her being sad after her pregnancy just seemed like a stretch. Because she still seemed to have a lot of time to still do her fuck shit. Like, I can't. All right, so Miss Betty and Junior come on set. Oh, I'm so sick of Stormy's ghetto ass family. Okay, Miss Betty got the nerve to sit up there and act like she don't want to be there. We don't want you here, so go home. We don't care. Betty is evil. Okay, and I said that before I even saw the end of the show. You can tell, I can feel her evil energy through the screen. Stormy, you need to keep your family off TV. They are a hot ghetto mess, and I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm not even saying that like the way I would call something just, oh yeah, that's a hot mess. No, like yours is really like still steaming. Okay, so the first time we see Stormy and Mel actually talk to each other this season, I mean really just them talk, is when her mother says Mel didn't defend Stormy the way she thinks Mel should have defended her. Stormy should have defended herself on the internet. When people thought that Stormy was recording her in her home or whatever. And Mel was like, I did think somebody was recording me in my home. That's why I said it. I can understand why in editing it looked that way, but you should have called and discussed that with me. She was like, I didn't have your number, this, that, and the other. Okay, bitch, well, you know where she lived. Go and talk to her about it. And if not, fuck it. The internet is an equalizer in many ways. You could have got on there and talked all your shit. That would have caught Mel's attention. and defend your motherfucking self. Defend your own name. Stormy, get over it. You came on this show, and your mama came on this show. And ain't this Mel's show? Ain't this her and Martell's brainchild? Don't play. Don't play. I don't think it's fair to blame Mel for people asking her to have her stuff pulled off the shelf that I didn't even know was on the shelf, that business who was going under for its own reasons, okay? Then she says, you still arguing out of nowhere. Betty's like, well, you still arguing with a man you divorced 3 years ago. What the fuck is it to you? They still have kids together. This ain't gonna be the last time they argue about anything. It ain't like she just can get up and leave a marriage. The other person doesn't disappear. Certainly not when you have 4 kids together. And Mel was like, first of all, you have enough going on in your family. And this bitch got the nerve to be on reality TV, Betty, and tell her to mind her business on her show. She's supposed to mind her business. The one y'all took down to Mississippi and showed that sorry stuff. Let me tell y'all something. I want this show to get done. This is probably the best episode we're going to get, because I'm going to tell you right now, next week going to be sorry just like the first episode, because we didn't need that first episode. But this one's pretty good. It kept my attention. Anyway, y'all be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll talk soon. Enjoy your MLK Day. Maybe I should do a video around stuff. But sometimes I'm hesitant because I'm like, people don't really like the historical stuff, or it doesn't seem to get as many views. But you know what? Whatever. I like it. So anyway, I'll talk to you soon.